What's up, guys? I promised you 5 years ago that I would conclude my epic, ultimate, next-gen boxing features wishlist when substantial news of a new game came to fruition. This is Esports Boxing Club. It has the big shoes of our expectations to fill, but when it drops soon, we'll finally be boxing again on next-gen systems. So, in this video, I'll share my thoughts on ESBC by looking at each video that they've dropped so far to see if this game is the game that we have been anticipating and hoping for years. I have to tell you the truth. When I first heard about ESBC and saw pictures of its earliest build, I wrongly assumed that the team was too small, too inexperienced, for their game not to be a disappointment in the graphics department. I know that makes me sound like a shallow gamer, but I subscribe to the idea that video games of the future will blur the line between fiction and reality. So I am intrigued by each step closer to those strange days ahead. But anyway, after all of this time, it isn't a disappointment at all. This game looks damn good to me. I hope Mayweather and Pacquiao are in the game. That would be a huge deal to me, but if they're not in the game does have a good roster so far. The character customization options are a good backup. And now, let's take a look at, as Big Bird Wallace would say, the big juicy meat and potatoes of the game. The first thing that they point out is footwork. They say that it's revolutionary, which you know I love the sound of. But it appears to be true. We can see the check left hook here making its video game debut. And we can see that she'll be able to pivot out at angles. That is brilliant. That is exactly what I was trying to emphasize in my videos. I'm also extremely happy to see that at different distances, fighters' stances change appropriately. Like I said before, it's a subtle change, but I said it would make a big difference. And to me at least, it does make a big difference. They mention words like momentum, responsive, seamless, shifting weight. And based on what they're showing us, I believe that those are genuine qualities of the movement we'll see and experience in the game. Next, we have feints, and honestly, I'm excited for this a lot because defense and feinting to set up knockout shots is one of my favorite aspects of the sweet science. I'm leaning toward liking it, but I need to experience how practical it really ends up being against non-AI opponents. I'm worried that it will feel floaty, and I'm worried that it won't actually fool anyone who is not a robot. So that's that, and I hope that it is effective against non-AI opponents. The corner system looks good. There is no mini game, which is fine. I like to take the time in between rounds to send my opponent smack talk. They show us that in the career mode, we will have negotiations in order to determine who will have the hometown advantage, where the training camp will be, the split of the money, and who will go first in the billing. I think that is beautiful. That's great. And I appreciate that the fights are determined based on the choices of who you have around you as a fighter. That's really a good inclusion of the game. Defense is the part that I'm most excited about. I've always been excited about defense, even in real life. I want to become an elite defensive counterpuncher in the online multiplayer of this game, and I hope I will. That's my goal. So, I was really hoping that this game would have a solid defensive structure, like what I described in my earlier videos. The Philly shell is in the game. They mentioned that the stance itself of the Philly shell blocks punches to the body where the lowered arm is. I like that. But nothing makes me happier than seeing that the shoulder roll will be in the game. One thing that definitely makes me feel like the developers may have seen my videos is that they included arcade mode and simulation mode for defense. That is excellent. We will be able to choose between a full 360-degree manual block or arcade mode style of blocking just the top or the bottom. That makes me so damn happy that my cheeks hurt. Throwing punches while blocking is also in the game. Slipping punches looks like a lot of fun. And I'll wrap up on the topic of defense by saying that it fulfills my expectations and more, because they included the shoulder roll, pivoting away at angles, and evading punches with the loose movement system in more unique and expressive ways. Let's take a look at this control scheme. We see that both the buttons and the right analog will be used to throw punches. That's one way to accommodate everyone. Another way would be to map features to the buttons and punches to the analog, and vice versa as an option, as an available alternative. But anyway, what we see here is mostly standard, except for loose movement. The loose movement system, as it is described by the developers, will allow you to alternate between more rigid fight-ready movement to loose, stylish, personalized, swagalicious movement, which will be specific and unique to each fighter. That is exciting. I'm pretty sure I'll be doing the majority of my boxing while using the loose movement system. I'm also excited about the adrenaline system and the drama that is going to bring to matches. Being out on your feet, seeing the opening, when you swing with all of your might at the opening to land the final punch of the fight, and then you do. Another thing I like is that the combinations look quick. The punches have realistic speed for once. I hope it gets quicker than what I'm seeing, but I like what I'm seeing. I really am pleased with most of what I see with this game. The developer says that each fighter will have 42 unique punches. That looks really good to me. That means that we have front foot, back foot, and to the side versions of each punch. And I'm eager to see how that feels when I swing to knock you back to last week. It sounds like we're going to have a lot of options offensively, and the footwork really does look incredible from what I've seen so far. Here we see this fighter get stunned, and we see his reaction to that shot isn't good. In my very first video, I stressed immediately that there should be dynamic knockdowns and knockouts, which never look the same. I spoke in depth about how having a limited amount of stun state animations is a detriment to the game. I can't tell yet if that's what ESBC is offering in its gameplay, but we'll see. The taunts I enjoy also. Here we see that the video we're looking at mentions a customizable career mode. I spoke in depth about career mode and rivalries, but it doesn't say much more than what they say. Sounds interesting though. The crowd looks really nice. The ring looks really nice. And I have to say that I hope that we will have customizable ring ropes and canvases in terms of the colors. I sure hope that we will have that in ESBC, and maybe it's not too late for its inclusion if it has not been included. As for the character creation, Ash, who's explaining this to us in the commentary of the video, says that they're working on everything, but that this is an update. It looks like they typed in his first name and selected his last name from a pool of names, which is usual. He mentions retirement. He mentions that they have all the weight classes in the game, including the super and junior divisions separately. That's good to hear. Overall, I like the customization options here. I definitely believe that most people will be able to make a good version of either themselves or fighters who didn't get on board with ESBC. I like that they've included an accuracy stat, a blocking stat, a discipline stat, a courage stat, and a confidence stat. It's very interesting to see these be introduced to fighting games. This is something I talked about a lot in part 2. I like the idea of the interactive career hub. Also, I spoke about how you could have a career hub be the home of the fighter, as in his actual house, and the fighter's car that the player purchased. Not that maybe you can't necessarily drive it, but it'd be the career hub. But we do see in this game that it will be the gym, which is also good. Right now, it's primarily the gym. That's all we know so far. Even if some things are left out, remember that the developers of this game have really done a good job. I'm not trying to give them an excuse to slack now or be content, but they've come this far with an emphasis on realism and being a true simulation of boxing. I think that they could pull it off, but if they don't, the game should be successful, which means that there's room for improvement in the sequel. Grateful to all of the viewers from 1 to 4 and to a lot of people. Shakir Egerton, I appreciate you also very much. I appreciate the developers of this ESBC. I really do. And I apologize for underestimating what this game could become. It looks really good, and it is the game that I'm most excited to see come on. I've always said that I would be more excited for a boxing game than a new GTA, and I definitely now feel that way. So thank you to the developers, thank you to you, the viewer. When the game comes out, I'm definitely going to have a review. The review won't be part 6, but after the review, maybe we'll do another one. Maybe there will be a part 6, in fact, actually, after ESBC comes out and after I do a review of that. In terms of boxing and my review, let's give it some time and let's get down in the multiplayer and in the single player and let's test the game out, and then I'll give you my honest feedback on what I think and how it really ends up stacking up against what I was hoping for and what my wish list described. It looks like they've seen my videos, and I have no idea if they have. But luckily for me, I see that everything I asked for is in the game for the most part. So I'm very happy and pleased with what they've shown us. Very excited for the future. God bless you, and God bless the United States.